Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. I'm gonna wait a few minutes. But come on in, come on in. Happy Feminine Friday. Happy Feminine Friday. Wait, where is my... Oh, I hate when I lose stuff. Oh, no, here you go. Come on in, come on in. I need to fix this for my nerves. It's the beginning. I just got on. I just got here. So you good. I just got here. Thank you so much for the likes. Put a 1 in the comments and let me know where you're watching from. I appreciate the likes. Good morning, sunshine. Because it's going to bring more people in. And this is going to be like slick a mini masterclass. Because it's called Your Mouth is the Manuscript. Okay? We're going to talk about why you keep living the same life. Okay? That you keep writing about. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Thank you, Lovey. Come on in, come on in. For those who do not know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist. And what I do specifically is that I help high-functioning women lead, love, and earn from emotional power, not survival mode. Okay, so what does that look like, and what does that mean for me as a psychological identity strategist? That means that I teach high capacity women how to rebuild the internal architecture of who they are emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. Okay, and this supports them so that they can live, they can lead, they can earn, they can love from their true identity and not from the identities that they had to create to survive. Because so many of us don't realize that if you are not living in the fullness of your identity, then you are choosing the identity of someone else or something else in order to assimilate in society. Because if you're familiar with psychology, one has those hierarchy of needs. One of the needs on there is actually belongingness. So wanting to belong is actually a very, very normal thing. But the reality of the situation is that if you are wanting to belong and you are using a different identity, or you're using an alternate identity to belong, you're not going to be able to thrive in society or even in that community that you're trying to belong to, because you're not being yourself. And so because women have these survival mode identities, this is the real reason of why women are truly, truly burning out. Okay? This is the real reason that women are truly burning out. People are not telling the truth. People are not being truthful. People are not being authentic. And because of that, it's choking them out. Okay? So everything I teach is rooted in scripture and is backed up by science and psychology. And so I want to focus more so on the psychological aspect of things today and some aspects spiritually. So I'm going to talk real heavy because, like I said, again, we're talking about how your mouth is the manuscript. Okay? Thank you. And why you keep living the same life that you keep writing about. This is for my journal girlies. These are for the ones who are always writing things down, who are always like, this one is going to definitely be for you. So if you're a person who tends to process through writing, or you've been taught to process through writing, we're going to have a conversation today, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about the truth about spelling. If you did not know, I'm going to talk about why you're stuck in this loop and why your cycle never changes. I'm going to talk about how the tongue is a tool in this process from a neuroscience perspective and a spiritual perspective. Okay. And I'm going to talk about why this matters right now and the consequences if you do not address it. I'm also going to tap a little bit into the root of your patterns, the word contracts, and the spiritual law that you're violating in the midst of that. So these things, if you don't get them together, they have a heavy impact on your life. Okay? So we're going to have that conversation today. Something is on my lip, y'all. I'm sorry. I keep feeling it. Okay, it's gone now, I think. All right. I need a mirror to see. Hold on, it's going to drive me crazy. Because it's like I can feel it, or feel it's not right or something. Child, this is the MAC makeup artist in me, okay? because I worked at MAC. So back one of my lives, I was a makeup artist. I worked at MAC Cosmetics for several years. I had a bridal business that was very successful for several years. And child, my nerves be bad when I don't like some. So, all right. So we're going to get into that. I want y'all to let me know in the comments. Thank you, Livia. I want y'all to let me know in the comments where you guys are watching from. Put a 1 in the comments if you hear me clearly. And let me know where you are watching from before I get into today. And then also make sure that you share this with another amazing woman who is high functioning, who has high capacity, right? Share this with her so that she can get this information, because I have something that I'm offering today that I'm never going to offer anymore. Okay, after this is going directly into something. I have like so many things coming for 2026, y'all. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm already in 2026, honestly, but that's about quantum jumping, but I'm already there. But there's so many things that are coming. So yeah, we're gonna talk about all the great stuff today. Okay, let me go back and see where y'all at. Hey New Jersey, hey Houston, hey Cleveland, hey Dallas, hey DC. All right, okay, so let's go ahead and get straight into it, because I always gotta go meet my sister, go eat. By the time I get on here with y'all, I'm gonna meet my sister today. So my baby sister after this. But again, for those who do not know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette. I am a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically, hey Tulsa, and what I do specifically is that I help high functioning women lead, love, and earn from emotional power, not survival mode. So what does that really look like for me as a psychological identity strategist? That looks like me teaching high capacity women how to rebuild their internal architecture, okay? Their internal systems, all right? And the architecture is looking like, or how can I say this? The internal architecture of who they are spiritually, psychologically, and who they are mentally and emotionally, okay? So that they can live, they can love, they can earn from their true identity and not the survival identities that they had to create in order to belong or to be present or to be here in this world. Some examples of a survival mode identity is feeling like you have to hustle your way to the top. There are a lot of women, especially women of color, who have, over the years, massively been dominating, going into business and corporate and different things like that and making a whole lot of money. But they have been going about it in a way trying to work like men. The masculine works in a very linear way. The feminine works in a cyclical way. If you are not in tune with the 4 phases of your cycle, you will throw your body out of balance. If you are not clear on your sun clock and your moon clock and what that looks like, you will throw your body out of hormonal balance, okay? And once you throw yourself out of hormonal balance, the body begins to start to break down, all right? And so once you start having these breakdowns, then these many small aspects of breakdowns, then you start to burn out, okay? And burnout is a sign, it's a symptom, it's a warning of a bigger problem that's coming. So when you think about burnout, think about your car running hot. If you're in a space of burnout, your car is running hot, meaning that eventually the car is going to stop. Okay, so this is what we have to pay attention to. Our bodies send us all kind of signals and symptoms to let us know that things are going on, much like a vehicle. You have to understand everything that is man-made, that's created, that it mimics you. The vehicle mimics your body, all of the working parts, right? The computer represents how your brain operates. So most of the things that have been created have been modeled after you, whether you realize it or not, but you're so disconnected from yourself, you don't know these things. So I always say, as a woman, if you want to thrive in this society, you're going to need 3 things specifically. You're going to need to, number 1, understand spiritual law. That's the only way you're going to be able to create a new reality, okay? Number 2, you're going to need to understand the science of yourself. That's the only way you're not going to violate yourself. Not violate yourself by overworking, not violate yourself by being in relationships that devalue you and that drain you. You will understand your value. You will understand your feminine science. And therefore, you will understand also the masculine. And so when you understand the masculine, you will stop expecting the masculine to behave like the feminine. You will stop expecting things of the masculine that literally just don't align with their design, and you'll be able to align with the type of masculine energy that aligns with your authentic energy. Okay, so those are two things. And the third one I would say is for you to study the psychology of your generational lineage, and specifically the women, your mothers, your aunts, your grandmothers, all these things. And I always tell this to women who come to work with me, and they say things like, oh, I desire, I'm having these issues in my marriage because I'm hyper independent, or I'm having these issues with the masculine because I'm hyper independent, and all these things. And when I start asking about the generational psychology of the women that came before you, all of the women, your family basically is a huge matriarch. There's not a lot of masculine energy in that space. So I ask women to go back and assess, without judgment, their mother's decisions, right? While considering their mother's childhood, right? While going to assess their grandmother's decisions, while assessing the grandmother's childhood, to see how all these things impacted the way they make the decisions. And you find the pattern so you can close the loop. If you don't find the pattern, you will not close the loop. You will just repeat the loop in a different form. And if you turn around and end up having a daughter, you will set her up for the same loop. So this is why it's very important for you to study the psychology, especially of your generational lineage, especially when it comes down to the women in your family. So if you want to thrive again, number one, you need spiritual law. You need to understand spiritual law. Number two, you have to understand the science of yourself so you don't work against yourself in this world, because society has trained you to work against yourself in every single way with patriarchal systems and everything. But I'm not even going to get all into that. But understand the science of yourself, okay? And then also study the generational psychology of the women that came before you. This is going to support you in collapsing time on your goals. This is going to support you in not making piss poor decisions with men. This is going to support you in making the proper decisions about if you're going to have children, what type of, whose bloodline are you going to come under? These are things that you really need to be thinking about. Because a lot of the stuff that a lot of people see what's going on, like, what's wrong with these men? What's wrong with these women? Bloodlines are here that shouldn't have been here, because people were not wise. People were not discerning, and people just wanted to feel something, and they brought children into those spaces. And these are things that we really need to consider going forward, because things are shifting and changing. There's going to be a lot of conscious creation going forward. People not even really going to be super in love with each other to be having kids and getting married. They're going to be doing it based on, like, this is what's going to be best for our bloodlines. Watch what I'm telling you. And it's going to be a lot of bloodlines that die off, because women are starting to wake up and become wise, and men are starting to wake up and become wise about where they want to lay their seeds. A lot, if you pay attention, the teen pregnancy epidemic that was so hot when we were millennials is a wrap. People are not really even having children. Most women are making decisions to have children later and later and later, if they have them at all. Okay? So these are the things that we have to start paying attention to. All right? You have to decide right now, and I'm not talking about tomorrow, all this you're waiting until January 1st. You need to stop. You need to decide right now what type of life you're going to live. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I can't go too heavy on it because I'm not going to get banned. Decisions are being made for you. Do you understand that? Decisions right now. There are decisions right now that are being made for you. If you don't start making the decisions that you want to see that align with the life you want to have, you're going to be in trouble. And it's going to first start with the words that you say, the plan that you write down. Because if you don't have a plan, you are preparing to fail. And a lot of people already don't have a plan for 2026. And I already told y'all, I'm already in 2026. I'm already there. So it's time to get your mind together. I'm going to tell you something. I'm in 2026. But society, your government, especially if you live in the States, they already in 2030. They already in 2030 with the plans that they have for a lot of people. You understand? So you're going to have to start making some real decisions right now, because once 2026 get the rolling, you're not going to be able to catch your breath. And if you thought you were seeing some things happen in 2025 with all this stuff that's being undone and shifted and changed and all of this, and degrees not worth this anymore, you better hold tight, because there is a lot more coming. And this is extremely why you need to be very rooted, very grounded, very emotionally sound, and very clear on your vision so you can execute. Because it's going to be so much noise that if you don't already know what you're doing, it's going to be hard for you to write down and get clear on what you need to do. I'm not telling you anything as a fear mongering. I'm telling you this so you can get prepared. And I'm telling you this because you're going to hear this back in your mind if you don't get yourself together right now, because you don't have the time you think you have. Okay? Decisions are being made. And what we're talking about today is exactly how they're creating these decisions. They're using words. They're using linguistic sorcery. They've been doing it for a very long time, which is why they can play words on your top. But here's what you have to understand. Nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention. I'm going to break down how words are spelled. I'm going to break down these things, and you can go and look this stuff up for yourself. You don't have to listen to nothing I'm telling you. Everything I teach you is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that there's power of life and death in the tongue. That's not a joke. That's not that's not something small. That's not none of that. I want you to pay attention to what the real war is on. The real war is psychological and it is spiritual. And they are doing a lot of it by using words, the things that they are writing down, even in the form of bills and different things, and the attack on wombs. You understand? It's not a coincidence that women have all these womb issues. This is coming from someone who had a womb issue for 20 years that she healed. I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. I don't have it now. Well, how do you not have it now? And they say that you're supposed to have it forever. Interesting, isn't it? You have to be very careful of the things that you allow people to speak into you and say to you, because it's a real thing. There's power of life and death in your tongue. So we're going to get into it today. Your mouth is your manuscript. Okay? Why you keep living the same life you keep writing about. So if you journal, you write things down, you write statuses, and you don't realize the things that you're putting out there and you casting. Okay? And so I'm going to talk about it. Hi, Lovey. Thank you so much for these gifts and thank you for these likes and these follows. All right. So let's get into the first part of this, the truth about spelling. Spelling is not just writing. And I broke this down the other day in the class, Words Become Flesh, which I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. In fact, let me fix something while I'm on here real quick so I can make sure that that is accessible. Thank you, Lovey. And also let me know if y'all can see me. See me. That's not what I meant. If y'all can hear me clearly, put a 1 in the comments for me while I correct this. There we go. Okay. So the truth about spelling is this. Spelling is not just writing. Okay. And I've done videos already where I broke down how writing is really a spiritual gift. And this is why during slavery, reading and writing and stuff like that, why they didn't want you to be able to do it, because it's going to give you, when you read something, especially if you're reading something that's excellent, like a fiction novel, right? You get casted in the vision. You get caught up in the words. You get caught up in what's being said there, right? To where you can see yourself in the vision. That's why they didn't want you to learn. They didn't want our ancestors to know how to read, because that would cause them to realize what they already knew was true, that they were visionaries. Did you know that Harriet Tubman, how she knew where to go? She would faint. She would fall out and she would have visions. And people would have to wait until she woke up. Okay? They would have to wait until she woke up to know exactly where it is that they needed to go. See, when you have a vision and you write the vision down and make it plain, it becomes a reality. How do you think the legal system came about? All they did, see, and I want you to really pay attention to this, because this is basically how they perform linguistic sorcery over you, using words. They have a vision of how they want society ran. Listen to what I'm telling you, because I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want to get banned. They have a vision that's been casted, you understand, about how they want society ran. So they wrote the vision down. in the form of your constitutions, your legal systems, and all these things. It was built on the vision of men, not on the vision of the creator. Pay attention to that. But on the vision of men. You can go back and watch the video where I talked about how they chopped up and screwed up and stepped on the King James Bible and what it really was about. How they changed the Geneva Bible, which was not the original, but that's the one that first came out. First is the Ethiopian is the oldest. Y'all know it's the one I read. Okay? So, yes, I've always said the Constitution is a spell in the contract. Good evening and good night. It is. But when you think about the Ethiopian scripture that was written in Ge'ez, right? That's in Ge'ez. It has not been touched. It has not been stepped on. It has not been any of that. Then you have the Geneva Bible that teaches people how to challenge and how they should challenge their leaders, how you should hold your leaders to a certain standard, how you should hold your leaders accountable, how you can get rid of your leaders. You understand? Because your leaders, there was an integrity and an honor code that your leaders had to follow according to the Geneva Bible. And if the people saw that they were not doing that, the people could come up against that. But you know what happened with the King James Bible? They created that version because they said, hey, these folks got too much power over here. They're going to feel like they can overthrow us. They're going to feel like they can challenge us. So let's create hierarchy over the people and put it in this right here. And let's give out this. Let's give this to everyone around the world and say, this is exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing and exactly what it is that you're supposed to be living by. And you should not question anything outside of this. Meanwhile, they left certain key codes and things in that very scripture that will activate you into reading and going beyond the King James, into Geneva, into the Ethiopian scripture, into those things. When it says simple things like ask, seek, knock. When you ask the Most High for something, the Most High is obligated. Keyword. I'm gonna tell you how his obligation. You can go and look this up in James. You ain't gotta believe me. James 1 teaches you literally how to approach the Most High. If you approach the Most High using the law of assumption, meaning that you already know it's gonna be done, that's number one. Whatever you asking, you're gonna get your answer. You're gonna get something from that. This is what you already know. So you approach it with confidence. You're not begging. You're not begging because it literally tells you not to be in there begging, right? You're not begging. So you're going forth with confidence, number one, knowing you're going to get the answer that you're looking for, knowing that you're going to get exactly what it is that you need. The second aspect of that is you have to make sure that what you're asking for is in alignment for your life. What you're asking for is not going to harm or violate you or anyone else. Okay? It has to be in accordance with the Creator's will. So if you're going to ask something that doesn't violate, that's in alignment for you, and that is in alignment with the will of the one that created you, why would you not get an answer? Why would you not receive that? It is because you do not ask. When you start to ask questions, the scripture you realize is a code that reveals itself to you, which is why it's difficult for you to read. You understand? Hi, Lovey. And when you begin to read the code and sit with the code and ask and knock and seek, the answers will reveal themselves to you. They will tattoo themselves on your heart the more you repeat them, because repetition is the language of the subconscious mind. So when you train your mind, see, when it says train up a child in the way it should go, for those of you who are retraining and re-raising your inner child, this is the information that you have to be giving yourself. Because it's your inner child that's anxious. It's your inner child that's afraid. It's your inner child that is having all of these things come up. The adult understands that this is a part of adult reality. But because you have nothing to train your child up with, you cannot calm your own anxiety down. You know what my client told me last night that I'm trying to get emotional about, even when I think about it? My client, I graduated the Muse Activator. My client's from the Muse Activator on Tuesday. And I have a client who is absolutely amazing. I just have watched her blossom over the last 8 weeks in my program. And she said to me last night in her exit interview, she said, for the first time in 34 years, I don't feel anxious anymore about me. I don't feel anxious. Do you know how many women have come to me that are high level successful with hella anxiety who have left me with no anxiety? Knowing how to deal with when they have the anxious feeling rise up in them, knowing how to stop it at the root so it doesn't become an anxiety attack. In 34 years, that's what she said at her home. When I tell you these testimonials from our last cohort of the Muse Activator is chef's kiss, because every woman in that space got something different and amazing from their 8-week experience. Anxiety is not something you have to have for life. And I know a lot of people will tell you that. The reason why it turns into anxiety is because there is no process for the anxious feeling that arises. Do you understand? There is no anxious feeling that arises. Because let me tell you how an anxiety attack starts. You go to the doctor. The doctor says you have a terminal illness. The thought of you having a terminal illness enters into your mind, and you immediately go into a state of, oh my God, this is unknown. Anxiety is rooted in the unknown and fear of not being able to control something, and also afraid and not being unknown about the outcome. So because they have told you you have this terminal illness in your mind, you start going, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to live. So the panic of that travels down to your heart space. And when it travels to your heart space is when you begin to feel it in your chest. And when you begin to feel it in your chest, this is when you start, everything connects, and it's almost like you start to lose your breath. Anxiety attacks the very thing that keeps you here first, breath. Have you ever paid attention to that? How are you allowing something externally to snatch your breath from you when you don't even know if it's 100% going to be your reality? But see, that's how, again, your mouth is the manuscript. And see, you let their mouth be your manuscript. And see, some of you, your mother's mouth is your manuscript. And that's why you can't find your worth and your value, because your manuscript is in the mouth of somebody else. And that ain't the way this goes. So now you've taken their manuscript and you're speaking their manuscript over yourself and wondering why you are multiplying monstrosities of a mess into your life. It's because you don't understand the power behind your words. When it was telling you in scripture, there's power of life and death in the tongue, that wasn't just no la la la. That's the real deal. You want to know, and the thing about it is you already know that it's the real deal, because let you have to stand in front of a judge for something that you didn't do, and that judge comes out of the mouth of that judge says guilty. I guarantee you that guilty verdict is going to cast a certain kind of energy over you. What kind of energy is that? What kind of energy going to be casted over you when you hear a guilty verdict in a case that you know you're not guilty at? And you think words are words? You think spelling is just regular spelling? No, baby, let's go ahead and get into it. The truth about spelling is this. Spelling is not just writing, sweets. It's casting. It's a casting of energy using phonetics and phrasing. Do you understand that? So the word spelling originates from the act of binding sound together. It's arranging language that activates power in a way. Okay. So these are the things that we have to pay attention to that are extremely, 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 extremely important. Okay. So when you're doing the following things, I want you to realize that you are casting spells. When you're conditioning your pain, when you're sculpting your fears, when you're journaling your breakdowns, you're not venting, baby. You're casting loops. Why do men always do this to me? Do you understand when you are writing that down in your journal after the 10th guy has ghosted you for whatever the scenario is because you overgave and whatever, and you're saying, why do men always do this to me? You are looping yourself into victimhood. You are looping yourself into always, which there is, we say the word, and I talked about this in that class. And if you want to get that class, the link is going to be in the bio, right? If you speak to that and you're consistently saying that, hold on, let me see. This is why we need to take legal actions when people speak untruths. You can. There's such a thing called suing for libel. You can. You can absolutely sue people for doing that. Absolutely. I don't care what they call you. They call you a whore, make them prove it. They call you a witch, make them prove it. Because see, when they say things that could potentially ruin your reputation, make them prove it in court. And if they can't prove it, make them pay you. I'm all for that. I am all for that. We really need to pay attention to that. When you're saying things like always, there is nothing that is always happening except for vibration. That's the only thing that's always happening is vibration. Okay? So when you say words like always and never, and you tie things to that and you write these things down, this is why this is always your reality. Why do men always do this to you? I don't know. Why do you keep reliving this reality? Why do you keep living this reality? And I want to talk for a second to women who write down, like, why do men always leave and abandon? Let me help you out, especially for those who, because that's your inner child talking. That's your inner child talking right there. Daddy may have left. Daddy may not have been there. But let's talk about that for a second. Let's have a deep conversation for that for 2.2 seconds, okay? What if you change the narrative? Instead of saying that your daddy left you, what if you shifted the narrative to say that your dad taught you how to thrive without his presence? It's completely different energy shift right there. My daddy left me versus my father taught me one of the greatest lessons of all time. He taught me how to thrive without his presence. Because here's the reality. People gonna die every day. And if you don't know how to thrive without their presence, what you finna do? See, you've been telling yourself this whole thing, writing down, every man always leave me. It started with my daddy. The thing, words, there's an attack on words, your words, what you write, and your womb, because all of those aspects are portals to wealth. Okay? So when you're writing things down, a lot of you are casting loops. And let me tell you something. Your nervous system doesn't care whether it's fiction, fact, or fear. It codes whatever you repeat, and then it recreates that experience every single time. And if you want to stop doing that, click the link in the bio and get access to the course. You're going to need both of them. Today is the only day that I'm selling both of them anymore. The rest of them are going into my program, my big program, okay, which is 4 and 5 figures. So if you want it, you're going to have to get it today. But I'm going to break more about that down too. Like I said, when you're writing certain things down, you're captioning pain. And let me tell you something. Even when you're doing these subliminal posts, trying to get the attention of someone else, you're casting yourself in loops. You're doing the same thing. You're casting yourself in loops. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you why it's even more dangerous when you do it online. I'm going to put you on real game, okay? When you make statements like, men always doing this, men always doing that, men always doing this. I want to show you how the universal algorithm works, and I want to show you how the social media algorithm works. And I want to show you how the op, which I like to call the enemy, created the rest of the algorithms to mimic the ultimate algorithm, which is the universe, right? Hi, thank you, Lovey, for these gifts and these likes. Now, the universe is is the ultimate algorithm. It was created by the Most High. Whatever you put into it is what is going to be reflected back to you, according to the law of sowing and reaping. Whatever a man sows, you shall reap. So I'm going to give you a really good example of that when it comes down to a scenario. So if you're constantly always saying online, men always cheating, men always doing this, men always doing that. Let me show you how powerful it is and how you put this out into two realms and how both of these realms begin to mimic your reality. The minute you put that online, the social media algorithm is going to capture that information and see that that is what you focus on. So it is going to show you videos. It is going to show you more content that aligns with the fact that you believe that men are trash. And the more you repeatedly read something, the more you repeatedly listen to something, the more you continue to say something, it becomes your reality. So that is how that works on the digital aspect. When you are putting it out there and saying it even in life, you're putting into universal algorithm. Once you put that into the universal algorithm, it is only going to match your belief. Belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. And this is why women who believe that they are pregnant will throw up and have all the pregnancy symptoms until they actually get the test that says that they're not pregnant. Why? Because the brain does not understand that you playing when you say that. The brain is going to follow, oh, we're pregnant. Okay, so what do we have in our Rolodex? Pregnancy symptoms that are going to confirm what it is that she's saying, even though we actually don't have a body, a baby in this body. We don't have a fetus, you know what I'm saying, in a body. It's going to happen like that. It's the same thing. So you are programming your mind. You are casting spells and casting yourself into loops. This is why it tells you in scripture to guard your gates. This is why it tells you in scripture to guard your heart. Because everywhere you turn, something is trying to program you into whether obeying something or buying something or listening to something or following something. And your brain is going to follow suit to what you allow. This is why people got to stop the crap and the lies when it come down to demonic influence and demonic presence, because demonic influence has to have an access point. Demons can't just jump on you. Oh my God, you got a demon, he's going to jump on me. No, only way demon going to come your way if you got an access point. They need a door. Everybody done seen the movie Sinners, you know, and they show you can't invite evil. You have to invite evil into your home. Whether you invite it through the television, whether you invite it in a person, whether you invite it through your eyes by looking online, you have to invite these things into your reality in order for it to become a part of your reality. Okay? So like I said, your nervous system does not care whether it's fact, fiction, or fear. It codes. Okay, because your nervous system is what is wired, and you can rewire it. So it's based on codes. So the nervous system is going to code whatever is repeated. So if that is consistent in your life, then it's going to recreate it in your reality. This is why your life feels repetitive. This is why you find yourself in time loops. This is why you keep dating the same man in a different body. Okay? You keep reauthoring the same chapter with the same words. You are not shifting your reality because you have not shifted your words. And in order for you to shift your words, you have to reprogram the brain. Why am I saying this? I'm telling you this not only as a psychological identity strategist, but also as an energetic psychology practitioner. I understand how emotions and thoughts impact your organs. Okay? In order for you to speak a different language, you have to program your mind, much like you do when you are learning a different language. If you're learning Spanish, if you're learning Mandarin, if you're learning whatever, you are reprogramming your mind. You are rewiring an aspect of your brain. Okay, so in order for you to do that, that means that the input has to change. If you don't understand brain dynamics, let me support you a little bit with that. So the right side of the brain is the creative aspect. Some people refer to it as the feminine. It's the creative aspect. It's the intuition. It's your feelings. It's all that. It's in the right brain. Okay, imagination, right brain. Just think right is the girl. Okay, left is the masculine aspect, critical thinking, linguistic processing, which is heavy. Let me explain how this works. If you are listening to a song, this is why some people say, I don't care about the words. I just like the beat. That's your right brain talking. That's your right brain talking. You think you ain't listening to the words. Your left brain is picking up every single thing because it's linguistic processing. If you don't programming, if you don't believe me, why do you keep singing that catchy song that you don't like? Why do you keep singing songs that you don't like and they're catchy? Or why do you, oh my God, why is that song in my head? Because your brain, the left side of your brain is picking up the linguistics of what is actually happening, what is being said. When you hear music and when sound comes into your ear, the eardrum is sending a message to the left side. Like, hey, we finna get a message. Hey, we finna get a message. Hey, we finna get a message. You focusing on the beat. The right side, you like this. But the message is going to your mind, which is going to program the way that you speak. Thank you, Lovey. It's going to program the way that you speak. And that is why they had that meeting and for the music industry to shift the music industry to get people into that prison pipeline because they understand the science. They understand the brain. They understand beliefs impacts biology and biology influences the way you behave. This is why when you listen to trap music on the way to your 9 to 5, you feel like you sell dope. When you really finna go do this work, you an entry-level worker. It has an impact on you. They knew this. They knew it was going to fill up the prisons. And that was the plan. And they got a whole nother plan I ain't even finna get into because I don't want to get banned. But if you're in my community, you already know. So I'm telling you, the best thing that I can do for you is tell you that you really ought to start paying attention to your words. You really ought to start paying attention to certain things because it's really, really vital. It's not a joke and it's not a game. Thank you for these likes, these loves, and these follows, and these comments. Let's talk about the loop. Let's talk about why your cycle never ends and these gifts. Thank you, my lovey. Every time you repeat a phrase, right, it becomes a neural script in your mind. Nothing ever works out for me. Nothing, huh? Not a thing. See, listen to what you're saying. Nothing ever works out for me. You mean to tell me not a thing works for you? That is what you're sending. When you say that, that is what is being coded in your nervous system. And as soon as something happens, soon as you meet some form of opposition while working out for something, the first thing you say is, nothing always works out for me. Because that is your consistent reality, because that is what you have trained your nervous system to pick up. Point blank, period, the end. I'm overwhelmed. I am. Let's start right there. I am. Anytime you say I am, you're saying that this is what you identify with. This is a part of your identity. This is why it says when you hear I am the I am, right? Because that is the identity. I am the I am. That is what the Most High was saying. So when you are saying I am overwhelmed, you're making exhaustion a part of your identity, which is why it is consistent. Your tests are derived from the words that you speak. This is why it is power of life and death in your own tongue. You will be tested by the things that you are saying. You understand that? People always disappoint me. People always disappoint me. So what you're sending to your nervous system is, I am never appointed. I am never important. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. That is what you are saying to yourself. That is what you are commanding. Each line triggers a triple imprint. I'm about to put you on game if you didn't know. Number 1, okay? Cognitive encoding. Your brain stores it as truth. The minute you say nothing works out for me, you have cognitively encoded your brain to store that as truth. When you say I am overwhelmed, you go into the next aspect, which is emotional patterning. Your body anchors it as familiar. So you become okay with being overwhelmed. See, this is how y'all don't never catch it before you burn out, because you become okay with saying it goes from I'm tired. Thank you, my love, for these likes and these gifts. It goes into I'm just exhausted. Then it goes into I'm overwhelmed. See, I'm tired is a state of being. Okay? I'm tired is a state of being. It's a current state. I am exhausted is a season. That means you've been sitting in a period of tiredness too long, to the point to where you're exhausted. Overwhelmed is a cycle, beloved. It's a cycle. When women tell me that they're overwhelmed, I know you've been doing this for years. Probably been carrying it since you was a child. When you understand time the way that I do, you understand that time consists of patterns, seasons, and cycles. Okay? Start and finish. These are the things we have to pay attention to. Let's get into the triple imprint, the third one. So you have cognitive encoding when you say these things. You have emotional patterning, and then you also have what? Behavioral scripting. Your actions unconsciously match exactly what you say. So you position yourself every single time to where things don't work out for you because you keep saying these things. You keep sitting in these spaces. What I'm teaching you it's not drama. It's neuro-linguistic conditioning. You put your own self under a spell. How about that? You put your own self under a spell. How about that? When you believe something, that means you're coming into agreement with it. And when you come under agreement with something, you playing an equal role in that. So I need you to really start paying attention to it. What I'm explaining to you again, why your cycle is never changing, because you are cognitively encoding with your words, which is creating emotional patterning, which is behaviorally scripting your life. And that's why you keep doing the same thing, falling for the same types. All this is exactly why it keeps happening. Your words are not expressions, baby. They're instructions. Your words are instructions. And your body does nothing but follow the instructions. This is why I say to you, you are the line leader in your life experience. You are Simon and you say. See, I'm a millennial, I'm older. So we used to play Simon Says. Okay? And what Simon said is what you had to do. And I need you to understand it's the same concept. Your words are not expressions, your words are instructions. Let's talk about how the tongue is actually a tool from the space of neurology or neuroscience and spiritually. Number one, let's get into Proverbs 8:21. Of course, there's death and life are in the power of the tongue. Even if you are not religious, this is literally psychobiology. Everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. I'm a nerd. I do this. That's why my results is my results. Women that come to work with me make more money. Never fails. Women that come to work with me get healthier. Never fails. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. Okay. I built my business. I built a multi-six-figure ecosystem. And I don't hustle. I do it from the authenticity of myself. And I teach women how to do the same. Supporting my client in her ecosystem that she finna drop from last night. Okay. So women make more money when they come to work with me. Women get healthier when they come to work with me. Women attract better men when they come to work with me, and women create better community with other women when they come to work with me. So those are the main three results. And it happens because we reprogram, we rewire, we really get into the truth of our psychological identity. And we stop playing small. We stop trying to pretend to be anything else other than ourselves. We stop code switching. Because for what? What are you code switching for? Code switching is performance. If you let me tell you something. And you may not like what I say, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Now, it's a lot of stuff I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you are code switching at work, if you are code switching in any experience, you have no business hating on a SMEX worker, because you both are performing for pay. One of you is just honest about it. If you are code switching, if you are performing at work, if you are performing in your business, if you are performing to be liked, to get something from somebody else, don't you dare open your mouth. Don't you dare open your mouth against a SMEX worker, because you both performing for pay. She dishonest about hers. You're not. Because the reality of the situation is when you are performing, you can't sustain a performance. You can't keep that up. Eventually, something is going to have to give. So even if you're not religious, what I'm telling you, like I said, is psychobiology, because let's get into it. Words trigger hormones. What I just tell y'all, if y'all was sitting in front of the judge and you know you didn't do this and the judge said guilty, that's going to trigger something. That's going to trigger that cortisol hormone, that stress hormone. See, words trigger hormones. Okay? Hormones shape behavior. Huh? Oh, I'm just moody and they say I'm hormonally imbalanced, because hormones shape behavior. What I'm teaching you is science. I'm teaching you what it is. See, I'm teaching you what they're not going to tell you. But if you really want to know how to correct this, you're going to have to go ahead and come in class. Because and that's when you click the link, you're going to see how to reprogram your mind. You get that, and you get the words that become flesh, which I'll explain in a second. Words trigger hormones. Hormones shape behavior. Behavior forms identity. Identity directs outcomes. I'm going to say that again. Words trigger hormones. Hormones shape behavior. Behavior forms identity, and identity directs outcomes. Knowing who you are, knowing whose you are, teaches you how to operate. When you know you a queen, you don't act like a peasant, and you live the life of a queen. But if you believe you a peasant and you are a queen, it's going to directly reflect how the outcome of your life. Again, words trigger hormones. Hormones shape behavior. Behavior forms identity. Identity directs outcomes. So when your language is built on fear, when your language is built on resentment, when your language is built on scarcity or self-minimizing narratives, your nervous system will always identify that as home. And that's why that man could talk crazy to you and you still be there. That's why when I'm watching videos of these celebrities call these women all kind of B's and H's and how they don't want washed up people and talking crazy to them, and they are talking crazy about other women and sitting there thinking that they are the exception. Beloved, when I see that, when I see a woman in a space where a man is dishonoring her like that and disrespecting her like that, I don't feel empathy. What I see is that woman is at home. That woman is at home. And why do I say that woman is at home? Because I can't imagine what she really believes about herself. Because there is no way that the queen of queens, if it was the queen of Zamunda, she would have never said something. If you thought you was the queen of New York, if you thought you was the queen of anything, if you saw any internal and really recognized any innate value within yourself, you would not allow someone else, or you would not sit in the presence of someone else who treated you or who spoke to you as if you were not exactly who you said you are or who you know yourself to be. There is no way you can sit in that space and be comfortable like that. When I see women being abused and mistreated in a way verbally, what that lets me know is that some part of that reflects home for her. So this is why you can see women and be like, how does she allow this to happen? How does she allow herself to be in that space? Some aspect of that is home for her. And she is not gonna leave that space with that man until she realizes that that is not her home. She does not have to live in that space. Until she realizes she don't have to live in that space, she's not going to leave any other space. Any other space. Because it is familiar. It is home. Okay? It's sad, but it's true. Like I said, I might say a lot of things. I ain't going to lie to you though. I'm telling you exactly what it is. Okay? So again, when your language is built on fear, resentment, scarcity, or self-minimizing narratives, your nervous system identifies that state as home. And we always go home. You understand what I'm saying? We always go home. Even if you're saying I hate it here, we always go home. Clean your house so you can shift the energy in your home. Because you don't have to live like that. And the brain, again, does not chase what's healthy. It chases what is familiar. Even if familiar is killing your momentum, even if familiar is killing your spirit, even if familiar is breaking you down like a fraction. That's why your cousin stay in that scenario like that, because she at home. And that's what she knows to be home. And this is the reality we need to start talking about. Let me tell you why this matters right now, though. This matters right now because your life isn't stuck. Your language is. Look at how you speak. You want wealth, but you keep scripting lack online. Oh my God, there's no money. Oh my God, it's this. Oh my God, it's that. It's never coming. Money is energetic and it's only attracted to certain things. High vibrational state, alignment, and value. That is what money is attracted to. And if you think I'm lying, look at what you buy. Let's get into it. You don't buy nothing that ain't valuable to you. You ain't buying nothing that ain't alignment with you at that minute. And you ain't buying nothing that don't make you feel good. Stop playing with me. Stop playing yourself. Cut the lies out. Money is not seeing you if you're not on that type of time. Because your money ain't seeing nothing if it ain't on that type of time. So how you want money to chase you? Money don't even feel safe with you. If you really looked at money in a sense like it was a person, is money really safe with you? I think not. Not if you're talking about everybody who got money evil. Then what you want it for? Yes, there are people who are filthy wealthy. Yes, there are people who are wealthy and that ain't filthy. Make sure you get in alignment with the one that's in position for you. That's true to you. You want ease, but your group chats are perform and struggle. Every time, girl, yeah, it's always something. Stop coming into agreement with that. Somebody said, girl, it's just so much going on. You, girl, I know, right? It's always something. Ain't nothing even going on with you. You coming into agreement with that. Now you finna have something going on with you. Please. You want love, but your journal is a collection of abandonment prophecies. Ma'am. If they keep ghosting you, you need to ask yourself, how are you ghosting yourself in your own quality of life experience? Because people that we deal with are reflections of ourselves. Good evening and good night. This is not vulnerability, what y'all doing in these journals. It's literally self-sabotage wearing spiritual language. 2026 ain't going to change this neither. You ain't finna get no new planner. It's not going to fix it. Mindset shifts and all of that. That's not going to override the truth of your scripts. If your words don't shift, your world won't shift. Do you see how fast some words was put on a piece of paper starting January 2025? And how quickly we are in November of 2025 and how much stuff has been undone from people putting words to paper? Don't piss me off. Y'all playing yourselves by not tapping in. Stop letting these people perform linguistic sorcery on you due to your lack of ignorance. Wake it up. And I mean wake it up now. Because next year, if you think their foot is on your neck right now, you ain't going to be able to breathe next year with the stuff that's coming. So get yourself in order. Cut all this crying out, all this emotionalism without any strategy. That is what they want from you. They want you to be emotional so you act out and be foolish. Don't be a fool. You understand? Get in alignment with the community that you're supposed to be with and stop playing yourself. Start with your words. If your words don't shift, your world won't shift. Here are the consequences if you don't address this right now. If you don't correct your language right now, 3 things are going to happen. Keyword, and I'm saying this strong. 3 things will happen. And I'm sitting right here because I want you to know how serious I am about it. If you don't correct your language, these 3 things will, capital W-I-L-L, happen. And I'm not missing words about that. Your manifestations will stall. Your results will contradict your effort. Your old identity will stay in control. This is why when I say your results will contradict your effort, this is why you working so hard is not equated to you making any money, because performance doesn't pay for real. Performance doesn't pay for real. It's the essence of your presence that pays. That's powerful. Performing doesn't pay. They can always get somebody to put on a minstrel show. The performance has to end. These are the things that we have to pay attention to. So why? Why are your manifestations going to stall? Why are your results going to contradict your efforts? Why is your old identity going to stay in control? Why? Because your nervous system is obedient, baby. Your nervous system is obedient. It's not wise. It follows whatever you repeat. So it's not your ambition that's broken. It's your agreements. It's the things you come into agreement with. Let's talk a little bit about the root of your patterns, your word contracts. You are not broke. You're not broke. Stop. I don't understand why you want to say that. You're not broke. You're in a linguistic contract with insufficiency. I can't afford that. I'm catching up. If it's not one thing, it's another. You're not unlucky in love. You're in a verbal covenant with abandonment. I attract unavailable people. Men are trash. People always leave. Girl, you in a verbal contract with abandonment. Of course they ghost you. we not catching it. Okay? These are not vents. You are not venting, baby. These are summonings. You summon this into your reality. A lot of you are more witches than you realize. A lot of you always saying you believers, baby, but your words make you witches in Simone. And then you wonder why you keep attracting warlocks. Do you understand that a warlock by definition is basically a covenant breaker? He didn't honor our agreement. An agreement is a covenant. He doesn't honor agreement. We were going to be exclusive. He's a narcissist. He's a warlock. But how did you attract a warlock? If you're rooted and grounded in the authenticness and the godlike nature and the godlike character and you have dominion, then how is it that how did you get tricked by a warlock? How did you get tricked by a narcissist? How you didn't see that coming? These are things like you really can see them coming when you really know how this go. You really can see them coming a mile away. Okay? So let's get into this real quick let's get into the rest of this. These are not vents. They're summonings. The moment you say it, your nervous system prepares to see it. The minute you say it, your nervous system prepares for you to see it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the spiritual law that you're violating. This is the part that really, really matters, because we're spirit beings having human experiences. So the psychological aspect and reflection of yourself, right, comes from the spiritual understanding and the spiritual grounding of your identity. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. This part matters. A lot of you are breaking the law of correspondence. As within, so without. As you speak, so you see. The scripture literally basically outlines this in 4 man thinking in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your internal language becomes your external life. Yeshua, the Messiah, even said this. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Luke 6:45. Your words reveal and reinforce your identity's frequency. So when you speak things like, I'm tired of this, nothing works for me, it's always something, you break correspondence between what you desire, what you believe, what you say, what you embody, and what you receive. All by one sentence. This is why the Most High told you in scripture and tells us in scripture, there is power of life and death in the tongue. You strike down your own blessings. You strike down the things that you are supposed to have. Because again, I'm going to say this. This is how you are breaking the law of correspondence. I'm going to tell you one more time. When you say, I'm tired of this, you break correspondence between what you desire, what you believe, what you say, what you embody, and what you receive. You create energetic contradiction, and contradiction never manifests abundance. Contradiction doesn't manifest abundance. It never have, and it never will. This is what we have to pay attention to. You cannot speak scarcity and expect overflow. You cannot speak chaos and expect clarity. You cannot speak fear and expect sovereignty. Spiritual law does not respond to intention. I know they told you that. This is why y'all gotta be careful who y'all be listening to online. I told y'all don't even have to listen to me. I told y'all go look up everything that I'm telling you. And if you find me in error, send me an email. I don't have a problem. I'm not above reproach. I don't know everything. But I do research a lot of things. And I do spend a lot of time in scripture dissecting. And I have been on this walk and this journey for 8 years. And I have thousands of women that have gotten results from the things that I've taught and have given them. You have got to understand that spiritual law does not respond to intention. And I know these folks got on here saying to set your intentions, but if you setting intentions without having the full-fledged IRA, and if you've been on my live before, you know an IRA is intentionality, responsibility, and accountability for whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. See, a lot of you want marriage and you're being intentional with dating, whatever that means. You're being intentional with your dating, but you're lacking the responsibility and the accountability piece, which is why you keep repeating the loops with these men and laying down with them and they still don't want you. They tell you they want a wife, they tell you they want this, they tell you they want that, and then you fall into the gap of what they're saying that they want right then and there, not realizing because you don't because you're in violation of what I like to call rule number 2 of thriving hood as a woman, because you're in violation of this understanding the science of yourself. You don't know that men are monumental. I mean, no, wrong word. Men are, they're momentary beings. They want that in the moment. This is why they can lay up with you and say, I want you to have my baby in the act. They want to release in that moment, because naturally, if you understand masculine science, sex for them is a basic need. It's a lower level need. You understand? For us, it sits, so sex for them sits at the root. Sex for us sits at the sacral space. So the fact that this is going to hurt some of y'all feelings, but it's just the truth. When you, as a woman, make a decision to lower yourself by sleeping with a man that you don't know, you're not making him come up. Even though he's at the root, you're at the sacral. You're not making him come up. You're going down. You're lowering yourself to meet him. That's why they lose respect for you. They don't know a lot of times why they lose respect for you when you do this. See, y'all, the spirit and the science of things will really put you on game and help you understand. Come see me. Come see me, because you'll know. But because you're not making him come up, rise to the occasion, and you're going down, he actually loses respect for you. He don't know why he don't really like you no more. He don't really understand. And that's what they like to call post-nut clarity. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. That's your post-nut clarity. The fact that you didn't make him rise up to meet you in a holy place to get access. You went down to the depths of hell with him, and you on the same level as him, and now he ain't got no respect for you. Now he ain't really valuing you like that. These are the things that we really have to, like, you ain't even know that. But I'm just trying to tell you, all the intentionality without responsibility and accountability gonna keep you in the chokehold and gonna keep you got to know how manifestation works. A lot of people on here teaching things don't have spiritual ethics. See, I have to answer. See, and I'm gonna put you on game. When you choose to step into the calling or align with your calling of teaching, which is what I do, right? You're held at a higher standard. I know a lot of you think that's just for the pulpit. No, it's not. If you have an influence to the point to where you have a flock, you have a responsibility, and you have a duty to speak truth. You have a duty to operate from integrity, because if not, you are held to a higher standard. A lot of people don't have spiritual ethics. I have to answer to the Most High. I ain't got time to trick y'all, because I don't want to deal with the spiritual consequences. I know what they are for the most part. I know I get slapped in the face real quick if I do something that I don't need to do, because I know better. You understand? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these comments and these likes. Everybody don't have that same conviction. So people, yes, will get in here and tell you and will sell you. See, this why you know how many people try to give me stuff to sell to y'all? I don't sell my soul. What I speak is truth. Whoever is supposed to work with me, what I'm speaking is the language that they've been praying in their prayers. What I'm speaking is the things that they've been thinking, and they think that they've been crazy. And I'm affirming what it is that has been confirmed to them in private. So those women are going to come see me. You understand? I don't have to convince them, manipulate them. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. I don't have to do any of that. The Most High's daughter is going to come see me because they understand my voice and they have been waiting for me. You understand? So everybody don't have that same kind of conviction. Everybody don't have that same time, ain't on that same type of time. People will take your money and say, write these journals down, and this is how you're going to manifest with intention. You need more than intentionality to manifest. If you want to sustain that, if you want to be successful in that manifestation, you need more than that. You need intentionality. You need an IRA, baby. Before you try to manifest anything, you need an IRA. You need intentionality, responsibility, and accountability. And if you ain't got that in your own life, you ain't finna have that for this. Okay? So understand that. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. You cannot create energetic contradiction, because contradiction is never going to manifest as abundance. Okay? I've thoroughly enjoyed your courses. Thank you, my lovey. I need an IRA, girl. Gonna get how to reprogram your mind is gonna help you get you one. So let's talk about it. Your words are, how can I say this? Two, I want to be very clear on this. Spiritual law doesn't respond to intention, it responds to alignment. And alignment requires the understanding of intentionality, responsibility, and accountability. I want you to think about your words as a vote. And I want you to think about your life, and your life tallies those votes up. Okay? Those things are a summation of your life. I want you to be very clear on the things that you are speaking, you are writing, and the way that you are working. Because again, there is a major attack on words, writing, and your womb. This is why if you come into the class, okay? The class is called, well, two of the classes. The first class is how to reprogram your mind. I'm teaching you how to reprogram your mind. I'm giving you step by step by step by step by step by step. Okay, you click the link in the bio, you get access to that. It's $197. As a bonus, I did a class on Tuesday. The women in that class was like, oh my God, this is one of the most powerful classes I've ever been in. I got a class called Words That Become Flesh, the invisible contracts that are in your content, your captions, and your journals. Okay? She said the workshops are awesome, gently holding mirror for us to realign. Thank you so much. That was an amazing course. Thank you, my lovey. So how to reprogram your mind is going to teach you the starting process as far as linguistic programming so that you start speaking a new reality. Words Become Flesh is going to teach you how to go and write these things and how to rescind things that you may have written about yourself. Okay. So inside Words Become Flesh, you will learn how to identify the trauma contracts hidden in your vocabulary and in your journals. My client from last night said after that class, she said, I went back and looked at my journals and oh my God, I saw the patterns. I saw the patterns where I had been repeating. I saw it over and over and I was wondering, and she said, and I never realized the connection. I kept writing this over and over and over again. Yeah. Because repetition is the language of the subconscious mind. This is why you still know your ABCs. This is why you still know your ABCs, because you had to do it all the time. You had to say it all the time. It was in a song. It was in a melody that could entertain your right brain and program your left brain. So in Words Become Flesh, you're going to identify your trauma contracts hidden in your vocabulary. You're going to rewrite your language to match your current identity. You're going to learn how to break the habit of trauma sharing that keeps you tired and underpaid, okay? You're going to learn how to rescript, okay, all of your internal dialogue. Internally, you're going to learn linguistic sovereignty and to be able to use your words to regulate and elevate. Okay, so specifically the things that we covered in class, so that you know and that you're very, very clear on, we broke it down in 4 specific spaces. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to get when you come into words that turn flesh, words that become flesh, is you learn writing as an agreement. You learn how writing is a spiritual act of consent even when it's unconscious. You learn the difference between writing for awareness versus writing for agreement. You understand what it means to document your dysfunction and unknowingly make it law. Okay? You also learn about the journal trap, how venting, scripting, and shadow work can bind you to past identities if you do not recalibrate. You also learn why women who process through writing often get stuck in emotional repetition loops. You're going to learn the hidden trauma loop language that you keep scripting and how it rewires your nervous system. You're also going to learn the biblical origins of writing, and talking about the fallen angel. I talk very little about that. The fallen angel who taught writing to human beings. It's in the book of Enoch. You can read it in chapter 69 if you don't believe me, and how the power was distorted by the legal systems. I talked about the connection between linguistic sorcery, legal systems, and digital surveillance. Hear me when I tell you this. Digital surveillance is going to go up 10 times in 2026. Don't say I didn't tell you. You think them people putting that Apple ID on your phone or something, they want to know where you at all times. They already started years ago when they started tracking what you buy by giving you points and different things like that. You had to know that was a data tracking system for marketing and to see what it is that you actually are buying. You have to know that when they finally, because this is going to happen too. And remember, I'm telling you, you're going to hear, if you won't do what you're supposed to do, you're going to hear this in the back of your mind when it comes. It's going to come to a point where this country is going to get on UBI. That's universal basic income. That means that people are going to be getting checks every month. And see, people are going to be thinking that that's a good thing. People are going to be thinking like, oh my God, they're really trying to help us. Oh my goodness, da 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 da. You hold tight. Anytime somebody, older women carry some of the best wisdom. And I remember an older woman saying at one point in time, if you only depend on a man to feed you, if you give him the power to solely be the one who is feeding you, then you are giving him the power to be able to starve you as well. Be very careful. Robert Greene has a law in the 48 Laws of Power that says, despise the free lunch. It's never free. It's going to cost you something. Be very, 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 very careful. Be very, very, very careful with the things that you see coming. Because it's not a joke and it's not a game. Digital surveillance is going to go up massively. Watch what I tell you. We also talk about how AI and predictive text are retraining your language in your life. I teach you how to use language calibration to reprogram your subconscious and your spiritual authority. I teach you how to use daily scripts to what to say, text, and journal instead of keeping yourself in the loop. And I also teach you how to create a routine to rescind all those written agreements that no longer reflect your divine design. I teach you how to script from a consecrated future, not a chaotic past. When you think of people talk, when I hear people say things like scripting is not, it's demonic, it's this and it's that, I often laugh. Do you realize that every single time that the Most High instructed someone to get something to write things down, that they were sacredly scripting? They were scripting for the future. Do you understand that? So these are the things that you really have to start. Sacred scripting is the reason why we have scripture. Sacred scripting is the reason why we have scripture. So you can write from a consecrated future instead of writing from a traumatic past. And you're going to learn that when you get these courses, okay? So click the link in the bio so you can get access. You're going to see how to reprogram your mind. That's the first email you're going to get. The second email that's going to come after that is going to be words that become flesh, the invisible contracts that are hidden in our journals and different things like that. So you're going to get both courses for $197. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. Okay. You can click the link in the bio to be able to get access to that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I put on here on my notes. What I can tell you is that these bundles, or this bundle, is not mindset, it's identity coding, which is very important. Identity coding is work that changes how you show up, how you sell, how you love, and how you lead. If nothing in your life is moving the way you want it to move, if you feel like you've invested, you've healed, you've tried, you prayed, you journaled, and you still kind of feel stuck, it's not your potential, it's not your consistency, it's not really even your effort, it's your agreements. It's your agreements, okay? Your words are still loyal to the version of you who survived. But your next level doesn't speak survival. And this is where you need to wake up. Your next level speaks strategy. Your next level speaks clarity. Your next level speaks sovereignty. She speaks in a frequency that her destiny can recognize. Do you understand that? So if you're ready to stop scripting self-sabotage, if you're ready to rewire your identity through language, if you're ready to release the vocabulary of your old self, if you are ready to speak in a way that your future can actually respond to you, then your next move is real simple. Click the link in the bio and get How to Reprogram Your Mind so that you can get words that become flesh as well. Okay? What questions do you have for me? Drop your questions in the comments. Click the link in the bio to get access to How to Reprogram Your Mind and Words That Become Flesh. This is the only day that I'm selling these anymore. After today, you will not be able to find them. Actually, on Monday, you're gonna see a whole nother lineup that's sitting on my thing. So if you want any of those things that's up there, any of those courses, a lot of them are going to go into my higher level programs because things are shifting. I've been telling you guys for 3 years now that things are going to shift and they're going to change, and they have shifted and they have changed. So this is the last call for you to position yourself to be able to get access to the tools to be able to reprogram your mind. And if you don't get it today, it's going in the vault. And the vault is going to be for the women who work with me behind the paywall. If you want to work with me, there are several different ways that you can work with me, or you want to get access. Right now, if you're a reader, get over there on Substack, the Red Knowledge Tree. The juice, you're going to get the awareness by coming over there for free. But if you want the juice, you want the strategy, right now I'm doing a 9-letter series on how to create a multi-6-figure ecosystem. So if you have a business and you're tired of working hard for the money and you want to know how to make the money easier, you want to pay $22 a month to get access to those letters, or you want to pay $222 for the year where you get access to all of the letters. The free information is always going to be awareness and making you aware. The information behind the paywall is the strategy on how you get it done. So you can go over there and become a paid member, okay, for $22 a month on my Substack. The next thing that I have up there, I also have a book up there that you can go and grab from Amazon. But if you are wanting to work with me in a group setting in the Muse Activator, our last cohort of the year is starting on December the 10th. Okay, December the 10th. This particular program is a 4-figure investment. Okay, so if you want more information on that, you can click the link in the bio to get access to that. All right. I'm trying to think of anything else I can think of. Those are the avenues to be able to work with me. Click the link in the bio. The information that I'm giving you is excellent information for you to make sure that you are aware of what's happening. But I'm gonna tell you something. Women have been able to manifest money in a multitude of things by my free lives, but you're not gonna get no real transformation until you get behind closed doors working with me. So if you want that opportunity, the best way for you to be able to do that is through this course. And if you get this course today, you actually have the opportunity to be able to possibly schedule a one-on-one session with me, but you would have to get it today because it's not happening any other day. Okay, so what questions do you guys have for me, if any? Thank you, my love, for these likes, these loves, and these comments. What questions do you have for me, if any, on any of the things that I talked about today, or the ways that I can support you? I travel a lot, actually. A lot. Any questions? I'm gonna give it 1 minute and then I'm about to get ready to go. But what time is it? Yeah, my sister's gonna be in a little while. Yes, it's only for today because I have been promoting it for the past 2 weeks, and yep, only for today, where you get both of them. You get How to Reprogram Your Mind, which is going to help you with the words part, and the second part is Words Become Flesh, which is going to help you with the written part. Okay, that is going to, and if you want support in the womb space, Okay, then you come into the muse activator, because that's when we get into the heaviness of cycle syncing and the physics of rhythm and all these other things. Or if you're interested in cycle syncing now, while this course is up here, you can get the physics of rhythm. Thank you, Lovey. The physics of rhythm is $444. You get a recliner from an afterpay, but that's gonna be gone too. Next week is like I said, I'm streamlining and having some stuff happening. So if y'all want these things that are up here, with the exception of the Muse Activator, which that's gonna be there, you might want to go ahead and grab that, guys. You might want to go ahead and grab that for sure. Okay. All right. You say you need a deep healing. Then I would strongly recommend that you start with the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint or the Physics of Rhythm. I did the rhythm class. My wake up is much easier. Yes, girl. Come on, Sun Clock. I know that's right. I know that's right. But yeah, if you're saying that you're in this space, I definitely recommend the Physics of Rhythm or the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint. Probably the Physics of Rhythm, if it's deep. Because that's actually going to get chopped up and put in a vault as well. Okay? A lot of this is happening because I'm revamping different things with my programs. So get it while it's available. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm not seeing any other questions. I'm going to get off here. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing day. It's really, really, really important. Okay? It's really, really, really important. Self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship. And you set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself. So you should treat yourself exceptionally well because you deserve it. Okay? But I'm not going to argue with your perception of self if you don't believe that you deserve it. But I would hope that you would believe highly and think highly of yourself, because your perception creates your reality. So if you don't see yourself highly, you won't live highly. Okay, which falls back into everything that I'm talking about today. You know what? This actually, because I'm putting this on YouTube, you're gonna be able to get access to this until Sunday, because I practice Sabbath, so I'm gonna be off this weekend. So all the way up until Saturday, probably at midnight, is when you guys will be able to still access this deal for $197. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm not doing no work on them days. All right, y'all. I'm gone. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing day. Happy Feminine Friday. Okay. Be very careful. Thank you so much. Be very careful out here this weekend. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. Peace, y'all.